Mr. Daigle, would you please come forward? Huh? MTRP? This is cause number 322350. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Eric Joseph Daigle. Mr. Daigle, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how you doing, Mr. Daigle?
I'm doing fine, and yourself?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Daigle, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Daigle, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes,
Mr. Daigle, you may put your hand out. Mr. Daigle, I have before me a motion to revoke probation. This motion was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office on April 22nd of 2022. This motion alleges that you, Eric Joseph Daigle, was tried on the 24th day of September 2019 for the offense of possession of controlled substance, penalty group 2A. He was found guilty and your punishment was assessed at 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail, a fine up to $500. Your punishment, the confinement portion of the punishment was probated for a period of 18 months. Now, in this motion, the state alleges that you violated your probation. There are two allegations in this motion. First allegation alleges that you failed to pay fees. Second allegation alleges that you failed to perform your community service. Now, if your probation is revoked, you can be assessed punishment up to 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, as a defendant in a criminal case, you have a right to have an attorney. Now, you have three options regarding your right to have an attorney. Number one, you may hire an attorney. Number two, if you can't afford to hire an attorney, your case will be reset. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, you may request an attorney be appointed to represent you. Or number three, you may represent yourself. If you want an attorney to represent you and have enough money to hire an attorney, the case will be reset to give you time to do so. If you want an attorney and do not have the money to hire one, you will need to fill out a financial questionnaire so that the proper person can determine whether or not to appoint an attorney to represent you. You may not speak to the prosecutor about your case unless you sign a written waiver of your right to be represented by an attorney. Be aware that there are dangers to self-representation. Waiving your right to an attorney and representing yourself may result in the worst outcome for you and your case, including the loss of significant legal rights and opportunities relating to military service, possession of a firearm, housing and public benefits, child custody, immigration status of non-citizens, and employment. If you choose to proceed without an attorney, you may change your mind at any time and may request counsel from the court. The document that you have before you is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without an Attorney. I've just read this document to you. You'll have an opportunity to read the document as well. Now, at the bottom of this document, it states defendant's choice, mark initials next to only one choice. If your choice is I want to reset my case to hire my own attorney, then you'll put your initials on the first line to the left. If you have already hired an attorney to represent you on this case, then you'll put your initials on the second line to the left and the name of the attorney on the line to the right. If your choice is I want to apply for court-appointed counsel or a court-appointed attorney, then you'll put your initials on the third line to the left. If you have already been appointed a court-appointed attorney in this case, then you'll put your initials on the fourth line to the left and the name of the attorney on the line to the right. If your choice is I want to waive my right to an attorney and represent myself, then you'll put your initials on the fifth line to the left. Now, once you finish initialing one of the 5 lines, you will sign at the bottom of the document on the line that's titled defendant, and you will date it today's date, August 22nd of 2022. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mr. Daigle, you can have a seat in the gallery. You can take that clipboard with you. It should have a pen. If you want to reread it, you can reread it, and then you can make your choice, sign the document and date it, and then we'll call you back up. Now, if you are desiring to represent yourself, the next page on that document is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. And it reads, I have been advised of the nature of the charges against me and the dangers and disadvantages of self-representation. My waiver is voluntarily and intelligently made. Furthermore, I have been advised this 22nd day of August of 2022 by the County Court at Law number 2 of my right to representation by counsel in the case pending against me. I have been further advised that if I am unable to afford counsel, one will be appointed for me free of charge. Understanding my right to have counsel appointed for me free of charge if I am not financially able to employ counsel, I wish to waive that right and request the court to proceed with my case without an attorney being appointed for me. I hereby waive my right to counsel. If that's your choice, then you will sign on the line that's titled defendant, and you will date it today's date, August 22nd of 2022. Now, if you are requesting an attorney to be appointed to represent you, you have a financial affidavit that is also on that clipboard. It's not on there?
No, sir.
Okay, we're gonna give you a financial affidavit. And that financial affidavit, you'll have to fill that out. And once you fill that out, we'll come bring it back up. Then if you need some help, we have some court personnel who will be able to help you with that document, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just have a seat actually you can have a seat if you need a table, you can have a seat at one of those tables and sit down and fill it out. All right. Okay, court is in session at cause number 331608. Case is style of state of Texas versus Jeremy Russell Moore. Mr. Moore is appearing via Zoom. Mr. Moore, you can take your mic off of mute. You can take your mic off of mute, Mr. Moore. Your mic is still on mute. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. How are you doing, Mr. Moore?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Moore, you are represented in this case by your attorney, Bruce Cobb. Mr. Cobb is also appearing via Zoom. Mr. Cobb, how are you doing? Mr. Bruce Cobb, can you hear me? Mr. Cobb, can you hear me? Your attorney may be having some technical difficulties.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you doing all right today?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Mr. Cobb, can you hear me? Let me, hold on a minute.
That's fine.
Okay. There's no way I can do anything. Yeah, you may have, just, Mr. Moore, put your mic on mute. We're gonna try to make contact by telephone with your attorney. See if he'll be able.
I can't.
Okay, that's all right. Just hold on a minute.
There it goes.
Okay. I don't think he has his mic on at all because when I pull up his.
Okay.
Mr. Cobb, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Mr. Cobb, you were represented, you're representing, your client by the name of Jeremy Russell Moore, who is also
Yes.
appearing via Zoom, in calls number 331-608. Mr. Moore, you can take your mic off of mute. Okay, Mr. Moore, how are you doing?
Okay, How are
Okay,
you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Moore, you're represented by Bruce Cobb and Mr. Cobb. How are you doing?
I guess I'm doing okay, Your Honor, but we still have the same situation. I received no discovery from the DA's office. And, you know, I need to get that discovery before I can't rate. And Mr. Moore has a felony case pending. Is that correct, Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's another problem that we have.
Yeah, his felony case, I see here, is set for September 19th of 2022.
Okay.
You like to have this case set on that same day?
Yes, sir. That's possible.
Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll reset this case with your felony cases that are set on September 19th of 2022. Now, Mr. Moore, stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. Thanks for being patient with us. This will conclude your case. Again, your case is reset to September 19th of 2022. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Moore, go ahead and try to call me, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now, Mr. Cobb, this is your only case that you have here today. You're free to go as well and you have a blessed day. And you're reset.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, we have, next case is cause numbers 325-438, cause number 325-442. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Ryan Eldert Carter. Mr. Carter, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, Mr. Carter? That's good. Now, Mr. Carter, you're represented in your cases by your attorney, Attorney Ryan Matuska, who is appearing via Zoom. Mr. Matuska, how are you doing?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Mr. Matuska, what is your announcement in Mr. Carter's cases?
Your Honor, I had information that Mr. Carter had some pending felonies that were set, and I
That's
don't know
right.
the outcome of those, if they're still pending or not.
Did they reset your case? You have a reset date? October 3rd? Now, Mr. Matuska, Mr. Carter's felony cases have been reset to October 3rd of 2022. Mr. Matuska, would you like to have these cases set on the same day?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Carter, these two cases will be reset till October 3rd, 2022, along with your felony case, and you're gonna do same thing you did today. Check in here, go take care of your felony case, and then come back here. All right? So you can stand on the 4X, get your reset. Once you get your recess, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Let's see, Mr. Matuska. Let's see. Okay, Mr. Matuska, I think these are the only cases that you have here today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Kimberly Chappelle.
She has received a sign-on date, but she has not,
It's okay.
got one yet, so probably Mr. Grove will have that information.
Okay. Okay. This is cause number 331472. Case is style of state of Texas versus Kimberly Chappelle Hearn. Ms. Hearn, is that your full name?
Yes.
How you doing, Ms. Hearn? That's good. Now, Ms. Hearn, you represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney David Grove. Attorney Grove is unable to be here today because he's sick. Okay, so one, your case is going to be reset. The two, we note on the docket sheet that you were approved for pretrial diversion. So you'll talk to your attorney about pretrial diversion because there's a sign-up date that he's going to give you. And we also have some folks here from Spindletop. Apparently you in the Spindletop program. Okay, now let me do this here. Pursuant to Article 1.24 Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, all proceedings and trials shall be public. However, also pursuant to the case of Lilly versus State, 365 Southwest 3rd, 321, the right to a public trial is not absolute, and may be outweighed by other competing rights or interests, such as interest in security, preventing the disclosure of non-public information, or ensuring that a defendant receives a fair trial. And based on the folks from Spindletop who'd like to provide the court and the state with some information regarding your progress, the court feels that this hearing should be closed to the public because there's a likelihood that it will result in the disclosure of non-public information, and the closure is no broader than necessary to protect those interests. And so the trial court have considered other reasonable alternatives, and the court makes those findings, and these findings are adequate to the closure. So at this time, this hearing is going to be closed to the public. Mr. Bailiff, would you ask that those individuals in the gallery step outside for